Hello, my Australian Elestrals fans. Elestrals is in Australia, it's just not near you. But we can fix that. So currently there are two stores in Australia that host Elestrals events and sell Elestrals cards that I'm aware of. If another one is selling cards, I don't know about it, but to my knowledge it is just these two at the moment. First one is Tuggeranong, I might have said that wrong, in the ACT. It's about 20 k's out of Canberra. They do host locals events. They do sell cards. So if you're in the ACT, there's a chance that that's within driving distance. The other one is in Shepparton, Victoria. Now, of all places in Victoria to have Elestrals, this is a weird one. We just got it first. So Shepparton, Victoria is about 2 hours north of Melbourne. Out in the middle of nowhere, just a small regional town. There has been players from Melbourne travelling to go to local events there, but it is out in the middle of nowhere and kind of a big drive and a big trip for those in the CBD and surrounds. But we need it in other places, alright? I've got players in Melbourne that want to be able to play weekly. We've got players in Brisbane that want to play weekly. I haven't heard anything from Sydney. Maybe you guys don't care. WA, over in Perth, particularly south of the river, there has been quite a few people that want this game off the ground and want to have a locals. So we're going to try and sort that out. But we need to work as a community for this sort of thing. And as a community, we need to work together and kind of, not have this store rivalry. Because you do get a store rivalry in games like Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff, where it's like, oh, everyone from our store is better than your store. We don't have the time for that because we're still a card game in its infancy. The first and most prominent thing is Good Games is probably our biggest chain store for card games. So we need Good Games to be on board with this. I've actually reached out to Good Games to just be like, what's it going to take? And they have personally said you have to go through our distributor, who A-Drive has gotten in contact with, and I'm not sure what the follow-up on that is. I'm not going to harass A-Drive being like, hey man, what's going on? What did you hear from the supplier? So that's unfortunately out of our hands. You can keep going into your local Good Game stores and asking, but at the end of the day, their corporate has said if their supplier doesn't have it, we're not supplying it. So that's unfortunately that's one we have to leave up to A-Drive. There's not a lot we can do, but there are other stores. I've gone to one store in Melbourne, which is Grand J Games. I've asked them, and they've said they will only bring it in if it's either through a major supplier or if there's a lot of people asking about it. I think he said the number was 17. So if you're able to get to Grand J Games and ask about it, we can get that number up, because currently we're sitting at maybe 1. Go to your LGS. That's it. You as an individual need to go to your LGS and be asking them about this. But obviously you as an individual are not enough to bring the stock in. So you as an individual also need to bring in players. Now we have the 2-player starter deck coming out with Firestorm, and this is a great way to introduce players to the game. This is where you've got to be willing, if you want this game to succeed and if you want a locals, you need to be willing to kind of put a little investment in. So one of the guys at my locals for Yu-Gi-Oh! Did all this stuff and got us off the ground for Elestrals just out of his own pocket. What he did was he bought one of every starter deck. Just bought all the starter decks. He got a couple of extra cards and he had them all shipped to him. So he massively, put his own money into this. And he would show up to locals. If a round finishes quick, he'd be like, or even if it's before the event, he'd get there a bit early. But yeah, if a round would finish quick, he'd be like, hey, since we've got about 30 minutes to spare, do you want to have a game of Elestrals? I've got some starter decks. Pick whichever starter deck you want. Pick one for me. We'll both play a game. And it was just the starter deck format. The starter deck format is a really good learning format for Elestrals. Yeah, so we did that, and eventually it got to a point where Yu-Gi-Oh was kind of in a rough spot. So he would just be like, "If you want, I don't care if we win or not. Do you want to just? I don't care if like about the Yu-Gi-Oh event right now. I will scoop and we'll just play Elestrals if you wish." And he would do that for rounds, or he would just be like, "Do you want to just dice roll for it?" We would do that all the time. I was loving Elestrals, and I was like, "Do you want to just dice roll for the win?" And then we just play Elestrals. And so we would do that for locals. That's says a lot about showing up to Yu-Gi-Oh locals to specifically not want to play Yu-Gi-Oh. I mostly was going for the social aspect. My friends are there. That I feel like that's what keeps a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players in the game. Is like, that's the only time I see my friends. So if you have another TCG, Pokemon, Magic, Yu-Gi-Oh, One Piece, whatever, try it. Get some starter decks. Get the 2-player starter decks that come with Firestorm. Have them shipped to you from wherever, and then just be like, "Hey man, do you want to try this? I've got 4 starter decks here because you grab one of each. Obviously, grab one of each. I've got 4 starter decks here. They're designed to play against each other. Do you want to try this game?" And people will like it enough to be like, "Okay, I'm interested. How do I get these?" And then you're like, "Well, you got to kind of ask the store. You got to kind of be like, 'Hey man, can we get these in?'" So definitely do that. For me though, the big selling point, like I liked the game. It was like, cool, I enjoy playing this, but I'm not investing money in this. And for me, the biggest selling point was Farrageist. That card is so cool. Not the effect. The effect is toxic. But the design was so cool. The name, cool, Farrageist. It's a camel, but its humps are pyramids. So beautiful of a card. And then I saw the rune art one, the one that's like all Egyptian rune with the camel and the pyramids. Oh man, that legitimately was like, I will play the game for this card. Fraser, will you sell me this card? And he was like, yeah, it's like $5, man, here. So he sold me the card, and I bought the Farrageist starter deck the moment they came into our store. Because we did have enough people that were like, yeah, we're interested in this. We'll get it in. And the store reached out to A-Drive and was like, can we get this stuff shipped over? And sure enough, we did. So we've been playing events since, I think, November or October, maybe late October, early November we got these in. Might be December, I don't know. My timeline's all messed up. We've been playing events every week. There is the occasional week where we do not have enough people, only 3 people show up, and we don't have enough to make the event run, which is unfortunate. Some of the players kind of like dropped out after a couple weeks because the end of the last format, which was Daybreak, the end of Daybreak was kind of not the best format for bringing people in because it is a very back row centric format. It's like you summon a guy, you set 3, and those 3 say your opponent can't interact with you. It just wasn't fun for people that are on a starter deck with a few extra cards. At a constructor level, it was a little better, but even still, it's just so back row centric. Whereas now, with all this back row hate that we've got in Moonrise, back row seeing less play, and that's made things a little better. There are still games where you just get completely blown out because your opponent has got a guy in the back row every turn, but otherwise it's fine. So unfortunately, that is the hard truth of it, is if you want Elestrals in, you are going to have to put the effort in yourself. I am planning to reach out to Guff, just as another franchise store, but I think they're pretty much exclusively Victorian, maybe a couple in New South Wales. I'm not entirely sure, just to see if they'll be doing it, but I feel like it's probably going to be the same answer I got from Good Games. So that's, if you don't have a card game to start with, my recommendation is find out what night they have their Yu-Gi-Oh events. Take a friend, go in and play Elestrals with a friend just while the Yu-Gi-Oh event is going. But be social, right? If someone comes over to talk to you, hey, what's going on? Just be like, hey, this is Elestrals. It plays like 2008 Yu-Gi-Oh! It's great for Yu-Gi boomers. I feel like Yu-Gi-Oh players, especially Yu-Gi boomers, are the most susceptible to getting into this game. And it's worth a shot, guys. It's worth just like getting in there and trying. Many Elestrals players already have some of the cards, enough to play the game. They just don't have anywhere to play it because they're getting their stuff online from Kickstarter and all that sort of stuff. Do take the opportunity to just go play it at an LGS. Oh, why does my LGS not stock these cards? Because they don't know they exist. Go show them. The next thing I would recommend, this is a big one. You need to be also like getting some knowledge of the game yourself. If you are wanting events, there is the Oceania Open that is hosted every Sunday, 5 p.m. Victoria, New South Wales time. I don't know about Queensland because daylight savings is a mess. We're sorry. We don't want this either. And then WA, it's like 2 to 3 hours difference. So it'd be like 2 or 3 p.m. for you guys. Also, there's people in New Zealand. They need this game too. The same method should work in New Zealand. Just, play the game at the LGS during like another event. It doesn't have to be Yu-Gi-Oh! I just think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the most susceptible to like falling into the trap of, hey, this game looks really good. And then when you're explaining the rules to them, if they ever are like, oh yeah, I'll try playing this, just be like, if you're unsure about a rule, it's the same rule for Yu-Gi-Oh! Attack, defense, attack mode, defense mode. That operates exactly the same. The only thing that changes is difference, and it's the spirits that do the damage, not like to your opponent, and not the attack points. That's it. It's realistically the same. Counter runes are trap cards, and invoke runes are spell cards. Artifact runes are equip cards. Stadiums are fields, and divines are continuous. Like, it's just Yu-Gi-Oh, guys. It's not hard to figure out. And I think a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players, that was my realization, was I was watching a game of it, and I'm like, what do you call it when the card is sideways? And this dude's gone, defense position. And I was like, is this just Yu-Gi-Oh? And it is. It is just Yu-Gi-Oh! But it's all the good parts of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's got its own unique things, its own unique flavor, which is fine. But a lot of the play style of Yu-Gi-Oh! Comes in. The only difference is that you can't just infinitely do things because you have the spirits. So yeah, get into Elestrals if you can, and try and bring a community. Try and bring a community together, and the best way to do that is obviously to show them the game. And now, I know you can't just go in, point at someone and demand they play, but if you go in and play, people will come and ask, okay? I went into Grand J Games because I was stuck in Melbourne for 5 hours or something. I had just nothing to do for the day, nowhere to be, so I was like, alright, I'm stuck here waiting anyway. I'm going to go into Grand J Games and I'm just going to sort cards and build a deck. And I did that, and I had quite a few players come over and talk to me. I had one of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Players come over and be like, can I play? Do you have a spare deck? And yeah, I played a few games. And one player even said that they had the cards at home, just no one to play with. So it is something that people just don't know where to look. Get into the Discord, the Elestrals Discord. Go to the Oceanic tab in that Discord. Ask if you can join the Oceania Open. That'll get you a link to the Oceania Open Discord server, and you can play every week with other players for prizes. The entry is free. You've only got to pay shipping when you want the prizes. Otherwise, they'll hold the prizes till you've got prizes you want. It's a lot of fun. It's on a Sunday, and it doesn't run late. It's only till 8 p.m. or something. It's like a 3-hour thing. It is a lot of fun, and it just gets you a little bit of experience with the game and helps you see that there is community here. But we could do with more community, and I know there's more of you out there that just don't know about what to do next. You got some cards, you saw the MBT video, you joined the Kickstarter, you got some cards, you might be playing the Clash beta, and it's like, what's next? How do I play this game in paper? I have it in paper. And this is how. You've got to play it. You've got to play it for other people to see it. It's that simple. In the meantime, yeah, I'm personally going to try my best to get more stuff off the ground. And if you ever happen to have the time, money, and patience to head down to Shepparton for locals, we'll welcome you with open arms. Join us. There's going to be winter mat events when the mats come in for the Series 2 mat and the Store Champion mat. I've already got one of the mats from the Series 1 Championship one, so I don't need to win it. I'm not going to fight you to the death over a mat. I am going to just... I'll try my best, but it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not going to be upset if I don't get a mat because some guy from Melbourne came down and got it. Cool, man. Do that. That's more players. That's more incentive for you to play. Tell you what. If you've travelled 2+ hours to a winter mat event at the Shepparton Locals, and it's the final match, me and you are undefeated, you can have the win. Alright? I'll give you the win. We'll play anyway, but I'll give you the win. Alright? Because I want to see more people doing this. I want to see more people in here. Unless the mat's pretty. I'm sorry, if the mat's prettier than mine, I don't know, I'll give you my mat. I'm going to fight you for it. No, just please, like, if you want this game to do well and if you want to be able to play this game, put the effort in. Unfortunately, it's not a game that will just fall into your lap. It did for me. The game did just fall into my lap. But that's because someone at my LGS put the effort in. You can't expect someone else to do that. You need to put the effort in. You need to be the Fraser of your community. Because you can't expect someone else to do it. If you are the most passionate in your locals about this game, then you're the one that needs to bring other people in and make someone else passionate about this game. Like, I managed to convince my brother to start playing this. He didn't play card games before this. We played a little Pokemon when he was younger, and we just stopped going because the format rotated. Please, A-Drive, don't do rotating format. Don't do that. Don't do save rotation. Yeah, so he played a little Pokemon when he was like really young. We just don't do it anymore. And then I was like, come and play Elestrals with me. And he was like, yeah, alright, I'll check it out. And now he's spending hundreds of dollars on Goon Archive. And a teensy little bit on Elestrals. But hey, I put someone in the card game community. Just because of this game, which is kind of cool. It's given him a hobby. He needed one. Anyway, thanks for watching. I've got the timer hidden, so I don't know how long I've been prattling on about this. It looks like it's been close to 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Hopefully this video is a good starter. I will be having some words with Fraser to just feel like, hey, what are some pointers? We'll probably get Fraser in for a video to just discuss how he managed to do the unthinkable and get the smallest little middle of nowhere regional town in Victoria to get Elestrals before the big cities, any of the big cities. And yeah, simple as that. Also, I believe there is a card shop in Mandurah in WA. Try checking those guys out. I don't know how they're doing. They're not a good game store, so they're competing against good games. See if they'll get it in. Someone's going to have to go ask. It is a 3-hour flight to get to WA for me. It's kind of out of my way to ask. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you have a local store that is not a good games, go ask. Please, you need to ask. If you don't ask, the answer's no. A lot of these card shops don't know this game is available. And hopefully things are going well with A-Drive trying to get distribution. I really, really hope that he has got distribution in Australia so we can pay less for shipping and so that these stores can be getting supply.